My parents passed down a hereditary illness, but they never told me.
How dare they share my genes?
I, 28 female, recently found out I have a serious hereditary illness that's going to screw up my life, and I'm so mad I can barely type this out. It's a degenerative illness, no cure, nothing. My body's just going to slowly get worse, and the kicker? My parents have known this could happen my entire life and never said a dang word. By the way, this comes from user Quirky Background 838 on the r/OKstorytime subreddit. So I'm going to tell you right now, I kind of agree with not telling you.
Because, like, I mean, what are you going to do?
What's the difference?
Well, I think it's good to know, but I don't think they're terrible people for not telling.
So this illness runs in my family. My dad's mom has it. His sister, my aunt, died from it a few years ago. I was living overseas when she passed, and my parents told me it was cancer. Cancer. They lied right to my face. Wasn't until I got diagnosed that they finally came clean and admitted that she had the same illness that I do. When I confronted them, my dad wouldn't give me a straight answer. I asked if he had it too, and he dodged every single question, acting like I was overreacting. My mom, on the other hand, tried to justify it by saying they didn't want me living in fear. Are you kidding me? I could have been prepared. Instead, they chose to let me walk into this blind, which is what would happen if you had macular degeneration. And here's where it gets worse. I have a 2-year-old son, which means that my child might have this, and they never told me that I was at risk. I could have had him tested and made informed decisions, but no, they took that from me, and now I live in constant fear for him too. Then my mom had the nerve to ask me if I would have rather not been born than deal with this. Can you believe that? She turned it around on me like I'm the monster for even thinking it. And you know what? Yeah, I said it. Yes, I would rather have not been born than to deal with this disease.
No way. I don't believe that.
It seems like a pretty hot take to me. I don't know.
I don't believe that.
In the vast, endless menagerie of color and experience that life has to offer.
Yeah.
I think that you could find some value in it regardless of what genetic
even
disorders
20
that
years
you
of living life is
amazing.
Life is amazing.
Yes, I would rather have not have been born than deal with this disease. They made a selfish choice, and now I'm paying for it. They knew the risks and did it anyway for themselves. They wanted kids, and now I'm stuck with this. I called them selfish, and I meant every word. Now they're begging me not to tell my younger siblings. They don't know about this yet and haven't been tested, and my parents want to keep it that way. They're hoping they'll get lucky, but I'm not going to lie to them. I refuse to let them be blindsided like I was. They deserve to know the truth. I've gone low contact with my parents. I can't stand to even think about them right now. My mom keeps trying to guilt trip me, saying that they were just trying to protect me. But protect me from what? The truth? No, they weren't protecting me. They were protecting themselves from the guilt of knowing that they passed this on, and now they want me to protect them too, but I won't. I love my son and my siblings too much to lie to them. I ended up telling my siblings. We met at my sister's house, and I just came out with it. I have Huntington's, and it's hereditary.
Y'all called it.
You should both get checked. My brother started panicking. He and his fiance just started trying to get pregnant, and now he's terrified. He's furious with our parents and fully on my side. He confronted them right after, and now we're both going low contact. My sister was more shocked and distant, but she said she'll get tested. My parents are pissed that I told them without waiting for the right time, but I don't regret it. My siblings deserved the truth, and I wasn't going to let them live in ignorance like I did. And I think, like you said, there really isn't a right time for this anymore. It's the right time.
Yeah, the right time is as soon as possible.
So, am I the a-hole for going low contact and refusing to keep their secret, even though they claim they were just trying to protect me? I'm kind of split down the middle a little bit here.
I think OP is getting pretty. OP is upset, right?
Mm-hmm.
OP's shocked. Like,
Yeah,
I'd
it's
be
an
shocked.
emotional thing for sure.
But I do think that telling the rest of the family is good.
It's a good move, yeah, for sure. They needed to know.
They needed to know.
Parents, I think they were coming from the right place, but then in practice, it was the wrong thing. And I don't think it's fair to completely disregard their intent.
Yeah, I don't think they're
to kind of
terrible.
give you a better life instead of this thing where you have this giant anvil hanging over you that could fall on you at some moment.
The parents aren't terrible, evil people. They were trying to do what's best, but I do think it
wasn't right.
I don't think it was right.
I told my siblings, we met at my sister's house. I just came out with it. I told them that what I had said, and that it was hereditary. My sister thanked me for telling her and told me that she would get tested, but seemed distant. I get it. It's very heavy, so I've been giving her space, but made it clear that I'm here for her. My brother looked horrified because he and his fiance had started trying for a baby, and the fear in his eyes was immediate. His fiance, who works as a senior nurse in palliative care, didn't take it lightly either. She deals with degenerative diseases every day and had a family member die from one, so this news hit her hard. She immediately took control of the situation. She has a lot of connections in the medical field because of her work, and she's been pulling strings to get my brother's test done as fast as possible. She's also been making sure I get the care I need, reaching out to specialists she knows personally. She's actually moving things around and calling in favors to ensure that I'm seen quickly. Good for her. On top of that, she's been adamant that I need to see a counselor, pushing me to get emotional support. That is also so true. I can't believe we didn't say therapy one time during that entire discussion. Given her experience, she knows how hard this is going to be, and I'm grateful she's making it happen because I wouldn't know where to begin. My husband and I have also been having difficult conversations about the future. We've decided to make my will, and I've been clear with him about when I won't want to continue living if things get too bad. I've also started recording videos for my son. I watched P.S. I Love You years ago, and the idea of leaving something behind for my husband and son feels like a way to hold on to a part of me.
Aww.
Yeah, that's so sweet. And sad at the same time. We're planning to speak to a child psychologist soon to figure out the best way to prepare our son for what's coming, though we haven't started yet. And also to weigh our option about him and the possibility of him getting this illness from me. We're not going to make an uninformed decision. On Saturday, our parents invited all of us over to their house saying they wanted to talk. My sister came too, but she didn't stay long. As soon as my parents started explaining how they kept the illness hidden to protect us, she couldn't take it. She stood up, said she couldn't handle it, and left. She's been distant since, and it feels like I've lost her a little. I know she's terrified, but it still hurts to see her pulling away. After my sister left, everything exploded. My parents turned on me, blaming me for ruining the family and accusing me of causing all this chaos by telling the truth. No, they kept saying they did it to protect us, but I just couldn't respond anymore. That's when my brother's fiance stepped in. She completely laid into them, telling them that they had no right to keep something this serious from us. She told them that they hadn't protected us, they had betrayed us. And I was so relieved that she stepped in because I didn't have the energy to argue anymore. Then my dad snapped. He started shouting at her, telling her to stay out of it, and he shoved me. I couldn't even react. I was so shocked. And I'm shocked as well reading this. My husband immediately stepped between us, grabbed my dad's arm and told him he'd better never touch me again. My dad just kept shouting, saying I was the one who was tearing the family apart and blowing everything out of proportion. But you can't blow getting like Huntington's out of proportion.
That's like the worst thing that you could be diagnosed
This is the debt that you have accrued, the parents. This is the debt you accrued after all this time of not telling them.
Like, get physical to the point where the husband has to get...
So that was it. We left. My brother and his fiance walked out with us, and since then, none of us have spoken to my parents. They've been calling, but I don't want to hear their excuses. They're still insisting that they did everything to protect us, but it feels like they were just protecting themselves from guilt. I don't have the energy for their manipulations anymore. But I'll always have energy for you to join us live on YouTube every week at 3 p.m. PST. Just tap that profile.
Yeah.
Every single day after 13 that these kids didn't know that they had Huntington's potentially was a mistake.
I think
every day,
dude, you got to go
and
earlier
that's this
than 13.
entire moment.
You got to go at least Harry Potter.
This whole
age.
blow up moment that they've
Harry
had
Potter
was
that he was a wizard
debt.
at 11.
They had to pay the debt that they had accrued after all that time of not having the truth out there.
There's a difference between like, hey, you're a wizard, between like, hey, you might not.
Yeah, you're a wizard.
Survivor.
Harry knew at 11.
You're a hairy wizard. The story is coming to a close. Right now, my brother and I are focused on getting tested. His fiance is doing everything she can to keep things moving forward. She's been an incredible support, and we're relying on her to help us navigate what comes next. I'm focusing on my son, my husband, and preparing for the future. There's too much at stake to keep fighting about a secret that never should have been kept in the first place. And that is the end of that story.
Well, when do you think you should tell your kid that they have Huntington's? Put your answers in the chat below.
All right. I guess I see early, like, because the kids are adaptable.
That's what
before
Oh,
puberty.
sure. Listen to chat, but not me.
I feel like 11, 12, 13, that's before puberty.
Oh, now you're doing 11, 12. Wow. It really does.
You brought up
going
Harry
down.
Potter.
Well, I
being
was
11
just saying,
years old.
which is why I was saying like 13 years way too late. Harry learned that he was a wizard at 11, and you're just going to disregard Harry
okay,
Potter.
11 then. 11.
I mean, but like
That's
10.
still late childhood.
Yeah, but there's early admissions to Hogwarts.